All right, last time that you were here, we talked about the 7 step to financial freedom. Dave Ramsey's plan, save $1,000, um, pay your debt off using the debt snowball, then save 3 to 6 months of living expenses, and then invest using compound interest, invest in your children's education, pay off your house, and then the seventh step was to enjoy it, right? Now, I don't want to keep going over the same thing over and over. I like to say just because you went to the class doesn't mean that you got it, right? So I want to go into that, but I want to go into something a little bit further. What I was reading, and since it's fresh in my mind, I'll go over it with you guys. Now, question real quick. How many of you in here have a lean purse? And what I mean by that is how many of you guys want a little bit more money? Now you gotta understand in that book, The Richest Man in Babylon, they talk a little bit funny, okay? So the word is, but I like to paraphrase a lot of stuff, so I'll tell you what they say, but then I'll tell you what I think it means. 7 cures for a lean purse. Now, Tracy, what year apprentice are you? Going to 7. Michael? Hey. We got a journeyman amongst us. Couple guys journeying out this week. Now, when I asked if anybody needed any more money, everybody raised their hand. Didn't matter if it was the 6th period or the 7th period or the 8th period or the journeyman. Everybody needed more money, right? So, I think it's universal. We always find a way to match what we make. Our desires always meet our wants. When we talk about the guy that makes $2,000 a month, he says that it takes all of it to live. And the guy that makes $2,500 a month, what does he say it takes to live? All of it, right? So here's the first cure. I'll just give it to you. And I'll quote it from the book. This is a chapter in the book. It says, for each 10 coins, I'll put in to spend but 9. Right. So I like to paraphrase it, save 1/10 of everything that you earn. Right? But like I said, this is a simple story. It's put in story format, and it gives there's an egg merchant in there, and it says if you had a basket of eggs and you put 10 eggs into it every day, in the morning you put in 10 eggs, but at the night you only took out 9, what would eventually happen to the basket? Right? It would overflow, right? Same thing with our money. For each 10 coins that you put in, spend only but 9. And this is living off of that 90%. Now me, I like 70%. If you can live off of 7/10, right? Because you asked me, 70%, Daniel, what should I do with the other 30%? I say 10% active capital. Go try to make a profit, right? Use your money, buy something that's broken, fix it up, put it back on the market. You do the work, you get paid for your work, your time and your money. Passive capital is, you give it to an insurance company, or you give it to Fidelity or Merrill Lynch, you give it to one of those corporations that they do the work, and then they pay you interest on the money that you gave them, right? That's passive capital.
10% of that?
That's what I would do.
10% active, 10% passive.
And then the last 10% is for charity. Be giving, be able to help somebody that can't help themselves. And you guys that go to church, they call it tithing, right? The church calls it tithing, but I think it's like, for me, it's a message of abundance. It's like when you give away your money, it comes back to you tenfold. And you send a message out there like, hey, there's not enough, there's only enough for me, but there's enough for everybody, right? So being able to give, it's just a message of abundance. But This might be hard for some people. Why?
Do they like to spend money?
Yeah, because they like every time it gets spent. I live from check to check, or from month to month. I've been working. This was me. I had been working like 13 years or 14 years union at the point where I didn't have nothing to show for it. I went through 4 years of the program. I had been a journeyman and running work, and I didn't have shit to show for it. I was in debt up to my ears. Everything that I had was on a loan, and it was quite embarrassing. But I did some things, turned it around, and I don't get mad at my parents or anything like that, but they never showed me, like stuff like that. And if you don't know, or if they don't know, how they gonna show you, right? So, I'm on it now. I'm telling my kids, hey, start a business, right? Lemonade stand or something, buy it low and sell it high, whatever it might be, right? That way they know. For each 10 coins that I put in, spend about 9. If you're spending from week to week everything that you earn, or from month to month, there's no money left in your savings at that, the best thing that you can do is rule number 2, budget. Budget thy expenses. I'll just read it because it's kind of long, all right? Budget thy expenses that thou mayest have coins to pay for the necessities, to pay for the enjoyments, and to gratify the worth, while the desires, without spending more than 9/10 of your earnings. So, we want you to have nice things. We want you to spend the money and live a good life, right? And I think this was part of Ramsey's plan. Once we get out of debt, it's easy to live that good life. It's easy to start saving money, but it starts with this little word right here. You gotta budget. You gotta write it down. All right, this is the second cue. Budget thy expenses that thou mayest have coins to pay for your necessities, to pay for enjoyments and gratify thy worth, while the desires without spending more than 9/10 of your earnings. All right. That's cure number 2. Cure number 3. Put each coin laboring that it may reproduce its kind, even to the flocks of the field have helped to him the income, a stream of wealth that shall flow constantly into that purse. So, number 3, put your money to work. Put your money to work. And you guys know it just doesn't want to sit in the savings account, right? We want a good umbrella, we want a good nest egg, but the money doesn't want to sit there in your checking account, because the checking account pays how much interest? 0, right? And that 0 is not a good return on your money. So put your money to work. Now, don't fall for tricks that are like too good to be true, or this is too easy. Like if it's easy come, it's easy go. Yeah, that put your money to work and do it like people that already know what they're doing. All right, just do what they do and follow it, right? Number 4 says what Warren Buffett says. He says, guard thy treasure from loss. Okay, so you're stacking up coins, 1/10 of everything you earn. Put your money to work. Now, Warren Buffett's number 1 rule of investing: don't lose any money. His second rule of investing: don't lose any money. Okay, so guard thy treasure from loss.
What happens when the market crashes? Everybody lost so much of that.
So do you guys know that they got from the insurance companies like TIA Cref? They got these things called hybrid annuities that when the stock market, they invest your money into an index fund, but when the stock market goes up, you get the gains of the stock market, but when it crashes, you never lose a dime. Hybrid annuities.
Was that around in 2008?
No, these are brand new. And what happens is that instead of say the market went up 20%, they'll put a cap on you, like at 12%. They'll take everything off the top, they'll give you the 12, but when it crashes, you never lose a dime. And what's cool about the hybrid annuities is that you pick the date that you wanna start getting your payments. Like, it's not a IRA, it's not a retirement account, you pick the day when you wanna start the payments. So, I thought that was pretty cool. You know, but guard thy treasure from loss, you know, do it, with people where you can get your money back. Or, you know, real estate is one of the best things, you know, to invest in. Guard your treasure from loss, cause you can get your money back in there. Number 5. Own your own home. If you own your own home, you know, your wife is happier, you're happier, you can grow your own fruit and eat the fruit off your own tree, and that fruit off your own tree tastes so good. Right? When you own your own home, you know, your wife, she can keep the house in order the way she wants it, you know. This is a lot, right? Home ownership. If you're renting, you know, you're making the homeowner rent. You're paying his mortgage or whatever it is, right? So, step number 5 in the 7 cures for lien purse: own your own home. It's tough nowadays, though, right? With this market. Number 6, provide in advance for the needs of thy growing age and the protection of thy family. Number 6 says you're gonna get old. Says that you can't always be a young stallion or like that on your math and being able to bend over and snap lines and do that. It's saying that one day you're gonna be old. So step 6, or the 6th cure, is to provide in advance for the needs of growing age. Of thy growing age. And the protection of your family, right? If you can't work and like actually go out there and be the, you know, carpenter on the job site, right? Have something like a steady flow of income. Have something, you know, where you can provide in advance for the need of your growing age. You know, something where it's gonna make money, where you're, you know, you don't have to be present. Okay, there's a lot of things like that. And then the 7th thing, and my favorite, this is the one I think you should have started with, but says number 7, cultivate thy own powers, to study and become wiser, become more skillful, to act so, and to respect thyself. I paraphrase that stuff. I like to say, invest in yourself. Einstein said, don't let school get in the way of your education. Right? Don't let what we teach you here, you know, get in the way of you investing in yourself and becoming successful in something other than, you know, what we're doing here. Does that make sense? Invest in yourself. Read the books now. You know, start reading 2 books a week. And if you read 2 books a week for 10 years, you would have read 10,000 books. 5,000 books, right? And you imagine in 10 years from now, if you had 5,000 books under your belt, the advantage that you would have over somebody that didn't read them, right? So, start now, invest in yourself. And like we talked about the other day, it doesn't cost very much money. You know, the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, less than 10 bucks, right? I just moved to Glendale, and in Glendale, you know how much a library card is?
Free.
It's free! Right? You don't get much cheaper than free. Right? All the knowledge of the world. So invest in yourself, take advantage. And if you do these 7 things, right? He says this guy was he went from the dirt on to being poor. Now he's a money lender. Right? He went from a tablet scribe. He was a laborer, he was a guy that did hard labor, and to a money lender. And this is like the path that he followed. There it is. 7 cures for a mean person.